Hello, Dr. Tony from Dr. Tony Coaches. I have my friend Molly here with me. We started working together, was it last July?
Yes.
Last July, and we wrapped it up several months ago. So Molly is here with me today to share her experience with me and with all of you. And I'm going to ask her some questions. She's going to be real and raw with us with her answers. She's going to tell it like it is, no fluff here, so that everyone can get an idea of what that experience is like. All right, so let's hop right in. Molly is an amazing teacher in special ed. So she has all of the dynamics that she has to deal with at work, right, Molly? Like
Oh, yeah.
people, parents, staff, paperwork, the whole kit and caboodle. Fair enough to say?
I think so.
And would you say that that is stressful to deal with or not so much?
I would say it was very stressful, especially my first year. And then when we first started working together, I had just finished up my first year in the position. So it was a lot of like reflection and then problem solving of how I can move forward and apply the new skills that we learned or that I learned so that I don't have a stressful of a year or I can manage those stressors better.
Nice. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. And you can just be like super honest about whatever your experience was. Molly doesn't know what the questions are that I'm going to ask her because I wanted her to be able to respond honestly and not feel like she has to think about the answers. I just wanted to be real and raw. So she does not know the questions and I'm going to ask her. But I think that they're helpful questions to ask for her reflection, for my feedback, and then for anyone else who wants to kind of learn from that experience. So let's just do like a quick recap of where you were at emotionally, mentally, socially, like where you were at this point last year, like what that experience was like for you in your life at that time.
Right. So last year, last year around this time, I had a pretty difficult caseload at work. So I had a lot of students who had like either like past trauma or like a lot of emotional issues. So as a new teacher, like figuring out, all of the programs and meeting like new people and coworkers that I was working with. And then on top of that, like just simple like building policies and procedures. So learning that, and then to have a caseload of students who I never experienced any of these behaviors before. So just trying to figure out like how I'm going to manage the workload, all of the newness, and then make sure that my students are being supported and that we could move forward and try to like reshape those behaviors or at least get some supports of like what they needed. So I would say like that was a really challenging issue. And then because I was so stressed at work and then I was just working a lot, then I started to notice like negative shifts in my home life. So personally, like I wasn't sleeping as well, or I stopped working out. A lot of like the home responsibilities then fell onto my boyfriend. So like Ryan was cooking all the time or like cleaning and doing the laundry and all the stuff because I felt like I was like drowning in work.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, I had started grad school. So I had to be full-time status at grad school so that I could get the financial aid. So I had to take 2 classes. So on top of all of that, I then added 2 classes to my workload. So there was like a really big learning curve there of like, I haven't been in school for, 6 years at that point. So just getting to know the curriculum again and like getting into the habits of like even writing papers and like getting in tune with the language piece again of like, okay, APA format, like just like little things that I had to like really open up my mind again and like refocus. And then the learning curve of how to fit this in my schedule when I'm already spending a lot of my weeknights and weekends doing paperwork for work.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would spend hours on the weekend of like, like my whole entire Saturday would be gone to like reading, writing, watching like the YouTube videos because I'm taking online classes. There was a lot of time for that. And then I would finish my homework assignments and then have to do paperwork. So then I was like cycling through, therefore not socializing at all, which for anyone that knows me knows I'm a very social being. So then everybody around me was very concerned of like, where have you been? You've dropped off the face of the earth. Like, is everything okay? So then that was a really big shift. So then I cycled into like, oh my gosh, I'm not being present for my family or my friends. So then I'm feeling really bad about it. So now I have to do this on top of it. So then I'm working my whole entire Saturday on grad work and then doing paperwork. And then I'm forcing myself to go out at night and see people or like fitting in like social events. And when I would attend them, I was not really attending them. Like I was physically there, but mentally and like emotionally, I didn't want to be there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to sleep. Like I really don't want to be here. So then I felt sad that I'm here and I should be here, but I don't really want to be here. So it was just like a constant
cycle.
It was a constant cycle. So it was just a lot.
So a lot of pushing yourself, a lot of exhaustion, a lot of stress, a lot of resentment, a lot of like anxiety stuff, right? Coming up too. And it sounds like whether you realize it or not at that time, I know now reflecting back on it, it's a little bit different. It was affecting all parts of your life because it was affecting like your sleep. So it was affecting like your body and your medical health and your friendships and your relationship with your partner. And then it was coming up at work too. So it was just like,
it was everywhere.
You couldn't feel it.
The sleep was definitely something too, because, you know, all of that was absolutely disrupting my sleep. I would wake up like several times throughout the night, or I would be like thinking of things that I didn't do or that I could do or should do. And then I would like write them down. So then there was like obsessive like list making in the middle of the night. I'm like, this can't be good. So I would wake up exhausted all the time. All the time. I was exhausted. No matter, it didn't even, I was exhausted.
And I remember when we talked, like the organization and the scheduling was like all out of whack, even though generally you care about like organization scheduling, but you just couldn't grapple with it like in a way that would make sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair to say.
Was all over the place. And it just wasn't intentional. Like I would wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. And I would just like plug away at everything that I could get done without really prioritizing either. So like, it was just like, I was so overwhelmed. I couldn't organize what was in front of me.
And then with all that going on, when you and I first talked and you had first made the decision that you're going to commit to this program, because we're talking about my signature program. So this is a commitment of a program. What were you like hoping to get out of it? What were you hoping, if you can look back, what were you hoping you would experience?
I remember being like, I just need help. Like I need some kind of help. Like I really do. Like I need help trying to sort my own brain, like my own mind, my priorities. Like I need help how to organize. Like there's so many things I want to do. And that, I think that's still relevant now. Like I have so many goals. I have so many things I want. But like, how do I do it in a balanced way? Because I used to be so like all or nothing, and I still have those moments where I'm,
Yeah, we talked about that, right?
But like how do I like stay high achieving but stay true to myself? Like I'll take any kind of advice, tips, tricks. I knew my scheduling was like a hot mess. And it's funny because a lot of people would say like, oh my gosh, Mollie, like you do so much in a day. I don't know how you do this. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I do a lot in a day, but it definitely is inefficient. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of room for improvement. So I just wanted to like continue reaching my goals and like, creating new goals, but doing it in a way more effective manner. And the fact that I didn't even realize this until we were deeper into the program of like my mindset about routines. Like I really thought routine, I was like, if you have a routine, you're boring. Like I can't. Schedules sound great, but like maybe I don't make them because I don't know, maybe I think they're boring or rigid. Like I just didn't, I had like a negative view of a schedule in general, which sounds so silly, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, it's interesting because you said the word high achieving, and some people describe themselves as that and some people don't, but I want to check in with you on the fact that you use the term high achieving, because you're definitely someone with a lot of leadership capability. Like you're definitely someone that's driven and you are like goal oriented.
Mhm.
And so as someone who prides herself on kind of being autonomous, like being able to do things independently,
Right.
was asking for help hard? Like was saying like, I need help something
Yeah.
that was difficult for
Oh
you?
yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Um, it's always kind of crossed my mind, like here and there, like, should I talk to someone? Like, how do you know if you need therapy? I definitely asked somebody like that I work with really closely, like last year. I was like, around this time last year, like, how do you know if you need this? Like, how do you know what you need? Um, because and I feel like I've always been like that. Like, even as a kid, if I needed something, like I worked for it or I figured it out. Like, I obviously had like a great, supportive family, but there was definitely a lot of like independence,
Mm-hmm.
getting my own stuff done and like working to figure it out on my own. Um, so I've kind of just always had like a little bit of a mentality of like, oh, I'll figure it out. Like, I'm resilient. I'll get it done. I don't know how, but I'll get it done. So I think you just get really set in that mindset and those patterns, and then you just are like, I'll figure it out. Like, I don't need your help.
Yeah.
But really, you do. I
Right.
did.
So what was the turning point, do you think, where you were like, okay, I just like need to be
Yeah.
open to accepting help?
I would say I just I felt disconnected from myself for the majority of my school year last year. So like up
Mm-hmm.
until I got my contract in my school district in August. I started working. August and September were like great, and then by October I was just on like a steady decline of like, I'm like very I'm like an intuitive person, and really self-aware, I
Mm-hmm.
think. So when I started to lose that and just feel like anxious and like my emotions were a hot mess, and I just did not feel like me. So I was like, something is wrong. And how do I reconnect? Because if something, if I'm not feeling like me, then I'm not able to like be there and do the things that I want to do, or like help the people I want to help. Like, I can't, like, what do they say about the cup? You
Yep,
can't pour from an empty cup, whatever it is. Like, I
exactly.
wasn't doing anything.
But you were pushing yourself so much that your cup was like running on fumes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So are you glad that you reached out then?
Oh yeah.
So
This is
that's you. So you were hoping to just get help, right? So
yeah.
were you surprised by what you got? Were you surprised by the experience that you did have? Like what actually occurred?
Well, I wouldn't say I was surprised. I knew you, like I knew of you. Do you know what I mean? So like I knew I was in good hands. I'm gonna get something out of this. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to get out of it, other than like, please help me sort out my life. Um, but I mean, I really benefited. Like, I still see those benefits. I think every day it crosses my mind, like, thank
Mm,
goodness I did this program. Like, I feel so good, so good. So I wouldn't say like I knew I was in good hands. I knew some benefits were coming. I don't know that I knew the extent, because I didn't have a lot of experience in, really reaching out and getting help or knowing anything about these kinds of programs. So yeah, it was like a very pleasant surprise.
So how are things now then? So we know that like it felt disorganized and chaotic and overwhelming, a lot of resentment, a lot of exhaustion, difficulty with sleep, like social issues, not getting a lot of quality time with your partner. So how is it now? Now this is about 7 months since we had begun working together, and we worked together for several months. So 7 months later, how are things going now for you?
uh, so well. So starting with me, I would say like just overall like I don't know, my mental health, great.
Mm,
Um, I make sure that I embed self-care practices into my days, even if they're like small.
mm-hmm.
I am a morning person now. I can say that with so much pride. I've waited 29 years for that. My sleep is so much better. I
Mm-hmm.
don't get the Sunday blues anymore. Um, I
I
have
hear that one a lot. That's a big one that people don't talk about. Is the
listen, I
Sunday
will talk
one.
about it. That
Mhm.
stuff hits
Mhm.
hard.
Yeah.
Sunday blues are tough, and I don't get them anymore.
Yeah.
Um, so that's been like really wonderful. I would say just like all around, I feel better managing stressors and things. I have a different mindset of like things can be chaotic around me, but as long as I'm centered, like
Mhm.
I can manage them. And there's, of course, like I'm human. There's still days where I'm like, ah! Like I'm going a little crazy here, or I feel a little reactive or impulsive. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like I still have my moments, but um,
How do you
they,
manage them?
oh, well, I feel like I have my handy dandy binder from like, so I'm always like looking in there, and there was just so many great like exercises and modules, and like even like just outlets like the journaling, the affirmations, the mindfulness. There was just so many components where it's like, depending on how I'm feeling, what will manage this best. So I'll pick a tool and use that. So I feel like overall, I feel 100 times better than where I was at last year. Um, Things at my home are doing very well. Ryan is a doll, and we are on like a really good schedule of like, these are the nights I go to the gym, these are the nights you go to the gym, these are the nights I'm cooking and cleaning, these are the nights you're cooking and cleaning. Like we're really in sync and like pretty balanced, which has been great. Um, and then work has been wonderful. I have like really great relationships with the people I work with, and my efficiency at work has just gotten so much better.
And that's a huge one because I know you were doing like working so much over hours and even considering maybe transferring, like you had an exit plan in mind because things were so
Yeah,
rough.
things weren't lovely at all. Things weren't great. So that's where I was like, okay, I don't really want to. I knew I couldn't stay in a situation that feels negative or is not helping me advance in any kind of way. So I was like, well, I feel like I need a backup plan. Um, so I'm definitely a believer in like, if you don't like the things around you, you really should either, you have two options, like you can do what you can to change it or you have to accept it. So like I'm not the kind of person who typically accepts it. So that's where it was like, but I was so out of touch with my own self and my own gifts that I was like, I don't even know what to do. I don't think I can change it. So it was just like a very lost feeling of like, don't want to accept this, but I have no power to change it. And it's like, no, you just have to recenter and like, use the tools available to you so that you can find that power in you. I think it's important. um, so yeah, work is it's really great. And because I'm not as overwhelmed at work, I'm able to give back to the community more. So like while last year, like I was involved in a couple clubs in my school, I'm still involved in those clubs, but like, it's just, I feel like I'm more engaged
Mm-hmm.
on another fundraiser. So like, I'm really excited about that. Like I just have more creative energy in general because I'm not in that state of overwhelm 24/7. Yeah.
So you feel like you have more to give now that you've actually taken time to give to
Oh
you.
yeah. Yep. Definitely. I would say that's one of like the top benefits. I'm like naturally an energetic person. Like I do have a lot of energy, a lot of creativity. So to be like, just to wake up feeling at 100%
Mm-hmm.
the time, um, it feels really good because then you are able to give back. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to describe your experience in 5 words or less, what words might you use?
5 words or less. I really think it was transformational. Like I don't I don't have any other that like truly encompass. I really think it was transformational. I think in so many ways. And I do believe that if you are going to do the program, do it right. Like if you're going to do it, like give it your all so that you can transform. Because there were times where, I would really spend my time, taking my time doing the modules and the activities. Um, but I really benefited from that. Like I would make sure that I had quiet time to like read and reflect or to journal things out or like do like the brain dump.
Right.
That was the brain dumping exercises. So I feel like if you're going to do it well and really give yourself that time and space so that you can transform. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really what you want to get out of it. Like I really feel like I got what I wanted out of it. So
Yeah, for sure. Right.
word transformational.
Hey, you got to choose to show up. I'm right there with you, right? Like, no, I didn't do this for you. I was a supporter for you, and I provided the structure and the accountability and the encouragement, and I was the guide, but I didn't do it for you, right?
Right.
Like the only one that could make this happen and help it to last is you. Like you're the one
Right.
that has to put that work in.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. So for someone who is on the fence about whether to work together or not, what would you like to share with them?
I would like to share that they should just reach out. Like I feel like if there's any way that you can just spend time talking, because I feel like there's so many different kinds of people out there, but very few in my opinion are like truly as authentic and just relatable. And it's so special because you come from a place of like you've really had enough professional and personal experiences to really relate to your clients. So I feel like that was something that I truly valued of like, you know what, I don't feel like I'm just talking at someone. I don't feel like I feel heard, and I feel like that there's actionable steps to like, you know, accomplish whatever I'm thinking right now or whatever direction I want to go. You are a good fit for me. So I feel like even if you're on the fence, just reach out, have a conversation, even if it's 5 minutes. Like sometimes you really just get like that good energy from people, and you know, I can trust this person, and you know, I feel confident in myself that I can make this change with your assistance. So I would say just reach out. You know, asking for help is never easy, or sometimes it's easy, but I don't know, not for me. um, so I think that it takes courage to ask for help, but once you do it, it is so worth it in the long run. And then you are able to like give back. Like I feel like that's a little bit of my philosophy too. Like when I see people that I'm working with or just friends who are in a state of overwhelm, like I now have a piece of advice that I can share with them. Or just be like a listening ear, but it's relatable too. So I feel like you're able to take that and pay it forward.
Yeah.
So
I love that. That's so powerful. And thank you. I appreciate that. Again, I didn't tell her what the questions would be, so I didn't know what her answers would be. but what I will say is that when I was in burnout too, and I visited burnout a few times in my lifetime, I definitely didn't believe that someone would care enough, let alone understand enough and be
right.
real enough to
Yeah.
actually be able to help me in any way that was like significant. And
Mm-hmm.
that was my own kind of like closed offness, you know, and skepticism that I, you know, had to maneuver in my own way in my own time.
Right.
But for sure, like I think what you just said is a really powerful point, because a lot of people feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't take the step to just try to connect with someone and give it a chance, and you never really know if
Right.
possibility,
Yeah.
right? For sure. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time so
I'm
much.
I'm the grateful one here. Thank you.
And no, I am so grateful for you, because like I said, like I can provide the structure and the guidance and this and all the support in the world, but if you don't show up, I can't help. And this is my passion, right? Like this is my thing. And I appreciate that you are here with me today, because this is your time, and
Yeah.
time is precious. It is finite, and we don't get more of it. So I appreciate that you chose to be here with me during this time today. And you know, if you need me, I'm only a call or email away. And to everyone out there, it's the same to you. If you want to connect with me, I'm only a message or an email away. So you can email me at hello@drtonycoaches.com, or you can go to my website. I'll leave the link below. So you can click on the link if you want to message me, if you want to connect, have a consultation. I'm happy to be there for you or answer any questions that you have. So Mollie, we're going to wrap it up. Do you have any last thoughts or any last comments that you want to pop out there?
I would just say I have so much joy from doing this program, and that I really feel like it just helped me like fine tune me and kind of like up level to
Mm,
a better version of myself. So I highly, highly recommend reaching out.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Bye, everyone.